Good evening, my friends, and welcome to the next episode of Myst 5 End of Ages. It's Thursday, and you know what? The heat has died down in the UK for the first time in about 3 weeks. I'm feeling slightly normal again. It's the first week where it's just like, it's just not the worst every day. In the chat, we have got Spiper. Good evening to you. Zephyronicus. Good evening to you. Platinum Caterpillar. We have got Shroomfi. Missed the last two. Glad to have caught this one. Sleepy Otter. Hello, hello. And Dr. Spire. No longer actively melting. Yeah. I tell you what, actually, like my camera needs a tiny adjustment there. Yes, that's good. I try and frame it so that the top of my head is like almost at the top of the camera because it makes me look slightly taller. I could just raise the seat higher, but last time out, well, we skipped a whole load of stuff on our idyllic island, although the chat has reliably informed me that I have kind of, by doing that, missed some critical information, or I might have missed some critical information that is not going to be available to us now otherwise. So we might actually have to go back and do a legitimate solve on that island anyway. And we are now on the other side of this great chasm. We've only just arrived on this side of things though, so we essentially zapped in... Where did we come in? We came in here. Here's our tablet that we drew. That's some great artistic work. That's amazing. And yeah, we're gonna see what's here. We're gonna start by having a look down this telescope. Ooh, homemade ice cream. Spiper has been making some licorice ice cream. Homemade ice cream is absolutely the vibe. 100%. Now we are trying to look for more coordinates. Preferably. If we can see anything, right? So this one over here we obviously already have had. Now each of these telescopes is supposed to show us something, surely, otherwise it wouldn't be here. Something like the back of that pillar. Or what are these? No, those are just roots coming through the wall, maybe. The other place to be looking is around this way. So we got through this by looking like through this telescope array. But there might be something on this side of that pillar. I don't see anything obvious though. So let's continue our exploration. Can we get down there? Almost certainly not. While watching the VODs, you had to hold back from yelling at the screen every time it misidentified your tablet drawings. Well, that was most of the episode, frankly. So, I mean, my artistic skills aside. Oh, blimey! Tell you what, he made me jump there. That was quite a bit louder than the rest of the game.
Your destination is not here. But above,
Space!
the stars and planets must be aligned. And regrettably, it is only the perverted power of the creatures that can do it. Make them.
You know, now that it's been pointed out to me that that's actually like Barrow's skin on his shoulder, you definitely can see it, right? It looks like leathery rather than fabric, doesn't it? Hello? That's weird. Dr. Spy says, I remember drawing that last one in the Ice Age many times before I'd accepted it. Interestingly, he didn't have that skin there during the trailer. Ah. How odd. Okay, wait. Okay, so if we move to nodes... Oh! Kimasuk, resubscribed 3 months. Thank you for the resubscription. So we have a hand... and it looks like it's sort of pressing and holding, but... how odd. Well, let me think, because I'm not 100% sure there's much alternate stuff we can do with this tablet, is there? Because the only symbols we've unlocked so far... yeah, is these two. We've made it to the age that looks like a singular coronavirus. Love the skybox though. It is a very good skybox, isn't it? Yeah, I chose this age to be the thumbnail for the series. When... there's obviously a little bit of a danger, right? Because when I am... I mean, it kind of feels like we need to ride the gondola and open this from the inside, right? But do you reckon the gondola's now going to be active? When I'm creating the thumbnails for these games, like after the first episode, I obviously have to go and Google for images of the game to pick a suitable, like, background thumbnail. And it's always, you know, a little bit of a risky one as to what you're going to find when you just, like, Google, you know, blueprints wallpaper or something like that. But, yeah. This skybox I thought was particularly good. So I chose it for the thumbnail for the series. Okay, if we go to the gondola now, is the gondola now active? Does the game kind of treat like, okay, you've gone to that side of the place, now I'll let you ride the shoe puff? Oh, Serious Kin has just resubscribed for 2 months. Thank you very much, Serious Kin. That is most appreciated. Aha, but no, but no. Serious Kin has to leave soon, but it's great to see you here, great to see you live. Nullarbin looked rather nice as well, but this stands out more. This definitely has a much more striking colour palette. Nullarbin is very nice as well, though. But then I have a little bit of a soft spot for... ages, which are just tiny islands. So, what can you do, right? That's interesting, actually, though, isn't it? Because everyone's favourite ages, right? You've got Myst. Everyone raves about Riven, of course. Nullarbin, question mark. Everyone loves Amateria. And everyone also loves... Oh shoot, what's the other one? Kadish's Second Age. Oh man, we spent ages there. We spent ages there really recently. I've forgotten the name of it. So yeah, the secret to writing a good Myst age. Set it on a small island, question mark. Spire, yes. And some people's favourite is also Spire. No, that's a joke, of course. Spire's a really good age. I like Spire. Arnone! Yes, that was it. Arnone, of course. Of course. Hello, Dodo! Good to see you live. Rhyme hits a bit too close to home for me. Yeah. I can sense, yeah, if you come from a cold country, Rhyme would not be the most fun. But then again, like, if you were to make a parody age of the UK, what would it be? What would it be? Just a massive city with, like, knife crime or something. I don't know. What is the English stereotype? If you were to make a satire age of the UK in Myst form, what would the puzzles be? Coldest you've been is minus 52. That is quite enough. That is definitely... Like, minus 52 is kind of getting to the stage that... Do you know what, actually? I'm going to have to look that up quickly. Minus 52, I'm pretty sure is... okay, not quite. Solid carbon dioxide is minus 78. But you're not far off that. You're not far off literally the carbon dioxide just coming out of the air. That obviously would not be very good to breathe at all, because you do need carbon dioxide as part of breathing. Okay, do you know what? Right, okay. Here, I got a crazy idea, guys. I got a crazy idea. Can we bring the gondola all the way back, all the way back, and use this small platform to step onto the ridge? Is that going to be how we do that? Maybe, maybe. Let's give it a go. Pop you down here. Bonk. I don't really need to be carrying you right now. A puzzle about making tea. Oh, do you know what? I think there's something in that. Do you remember that old Simpsons gag with the cat burglar? And he's like, it's under a giant T. and everyone's kind of got these really weird and loose interpretations as to what tea could be. So maybe it's an entire age where all of the puzzles revolve around different interpretations of what tea could mean. Like, you could have like a golf-themed puzzle, a drink-themed puzzle. Obviously, you'd have like letters as well. Okay, I'm running out of other examples, but to be honest, if you get like 3 really good puzzles in an age, pack the rest of it with filler, job's done, right? The Nancy Drew series has one game with one hated tea puzzle. Takes place in France. Oh, well, that explains it. Like, you know. No, I do. Do you know what? I do quite like France. I do quite like France. It is a bit of a meme to be. I want to turn this bit down in my headphones because it's quite loud. It is a bit of a meme to like hate on France as someone from the UK. So much so that we had like an international incident fairly recently where... What? Oh yeah. We had an international incident fairly recently where one of our, well, now former prime ministers, someone asked him about like the strategic alliance that we have with France, and he kind of made what I would interpret to be like a joke, like, France, not really sure, right? And of course, France did not take that very well at all, and they were like, oh, we like you, like, we've always been really close allies, like, ever since medieval times at least. So, yeah, not something you really joke about, as, you know, like, the Prime Minister, apparently. So, yeah. But no, I really like France. I've always really liked France. Spiker says, I've been told it's technically only tea if it's made from the tea plant. Otherwise, it's a herbal infusion or decoction. I'm reckoning that English people aren't really that picky about what you call tea, to be honest, because, like, literally, we will take the leaves from whatever, grind them up and dry them out, grind them up and shred them down, stick them in a little tea bag and call it tea, right? Like, if you try... I mean, you guys know that I'm pretty big on my chamomile tea, right? Like, if you actually have, like, chamomile flower tea versus what you get chamomile in a tea bag, they just taste wildly different. Now, that's not to say that one is better than the other. I mean, obviously, one of them is a lot truer to the original cultural significances of the tea in question, and the other one is like, you know, essentially a modern invention or a modern convenience. Personally, my taste is not sophisticated enough for the real stuff. I actually much prefer the cheaper option, but it's a matter of taste, quite literally. Do you think this stops when we get there? I mean, at some point maybe we'll go to the other side and we'll check its progress, you know? The tea puzzle in Nancy Drew, Kimasak says, is like a high-maintenance coffee joke about an eccentric fashion designer. Fair enough. It's only a vaccine if it's from Vacciné, France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling inoculation. James Moore says, I'm glad Keemus beat me to the champagne joke. Now, having said that, when I was a drinker, I don't drink anymore. I haven't drunk in 10 years now. I think it's been since I've had a drink. But certainly when I was a drinker, the champagne sparkling wine thing was something where, unlike my taste in tea, that definitely was something where I was like, no, the expensive option genuinely tastes better. Because obviously Prosecco is very much in vogue, and it has been very much in vogue for a long time, right? But Prosecco is very sweet. It's a very sugary drink, okay? And I just do not have very much of a sweet tooth, right? Like I don't even eat brioche. I'm one of these really miserable people who, when you go out to a pub and they have burgers on a brioche bun, I'm the guy that's like, oh, can't I just have a sesame bun instead, right? Because like brioche for me is just so sugary. And Prosecco is very, very sweet, but champagne is very dry and very tart. And I just much preferred it. To be honest. Now, of course, if you're having a dessert wine, it's very different. I mean, it's very context dependent, of course, right? Like, I mean, what is it that you're drinking is kind of important, you know? Aha! Success! So, let's get our nodes on here. Sesame bun gang, says Nimue. Yeah, quite right. Quite right, too. Related back to Escher, but imagine if they'd given the Baru a different linking sound than the book, same as how Gen's book sounded different. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Hard lemonade. You've heard UK lemonade is very different to ours. Ooh. My favourite age tangent. The favourite age tangent has reminded me to post some old concept art on the Discord. More to follow. Perfect. I'm really kind of baffled as to what is different about lemonade between the UK and the US. I'm genuinely curious, because lemonade is like lemon juice, sugar, and carbonic acid, right, to make it fizzy. Unless it's flat lemonade, because you can have, I guess, like fresh lemonade, which is just lemon juice and sugar, I suppose. But lemonade here is fizzy. Oh, US lemonade is not carbonated. Really? How interesting. Like, I often get frowned at. I often get frowned at for kicking up a fuss about the fact that Sprite isn't lemonade. I'll sometimes be asking for a lemonade, and then they give us they give us a Sprite, or you see them pouring a Sprite at the bar, and you're like, wait, that's got lime in it. That's lemon and lime. Like, Sprite is not lemonade. It's right there on the can. But like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Am I the picky one? I might be the picky one. I don't know. Right, this will be easier if we undock the mouse. Yeah. It's like, is Pepsi okay, but without asking? Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, it's just a little bit off. Now, 7-Up, I'm not familiar with... So 7-Up is obviously made by the Pepsi company. Is 7-Up lemon and lime, or is that just lemonade? Because I don't actually know. Ah, there we go. Perfect. I don't actually know what the ingredients on 7-Up are, to be honest. 7-Up is also lemon lime. Right, so 7-Up and Sprite are basically equivalent drinks then. Because Coca-Cola has a lemonade brand. I don't know if it's popular globally, but certainly in the UK, Schweppes. And Schweppes, they sell tonic water, lemonade, you know, other things. What do they also sell? Ginger ale, right, under the Schweppes brand. So, like, you know, if you're affiliated with Coca-Cola, you already have access to a lemonade. It's Schweppes lemonade. But yeah, I don't know. Huh. Not gonna lie, I was somewhat expecting that to open. Right, so both of these just lead upwards. We've powered on. I tell you what, that is a health and safety violation right there. You wouldn't want to accidentally put your foot through that, would you? Blimey. Huh. Okay. Well, now that we've powered on, we can try and go back round the other way again. Up we go. James Moore says, doesn't like brioche, doesn't like lime. Am I the picky one? I mean, like, to clarify, I like both of those things in their proper context. Like, if I'm having a dessert, then brioche, totally acceptable. What am I missing about how to get in here? And similarly, you know, if I'm making salsa, like adding lime to it is fine. You're chuckling at the idea of a small child running a lemonade stand with a soda stream. No pineapple or kiwi on pizza? Wait, hang on. That's just rage bait, right? Like, no one's actually putting kiwi on a pizza, surely. Surely. Pineapple on a pizza I'm absolutely fine with. Like, the hate for pineapple on pizza, I think we all can collectively agree got way out of hand, and it really is not that bad. Like, I quite like pineapple on a pizza. It kind of, you know, has a certain freshness to it. Oxidator says there might be some way to power up the cable car. I guess so. If you won't try kiwi, then you can't eat pineapple either. There's a place here which has a pickle pizza. I have seen pickles on a pizza. It was like advertised as a kind of Did I not quite get this done correctly? Okay. That looks like it's now doing more than it was doing before, so I think I just messed that up. Okay. Does this now open this? Yeah, that sounds a lot more promising. Yeah, I have seen pickles on a pizza. They were advertising it as like a cheeseburger pizza. So it had like gherkin, minced beef, tomato. It didn't have lettuce. That would be dumb. And burger sauce. And you know what? For the first 2 slices, really good. But you definitely can't eat a whole pizza of that. Oh no, I pressed the wrong thing. Okay, let's bring that back. Anchovies are my thing to have on pizza that is reviled by others. Do you know what? I don't think I've seen anchovies on a pizza in the UK as being like an option. Like, I think they're unpopular enough. Like, anchovies on a pizza, as opposed to pineapple on a pizza. Like, pineapple on a pizza was always quite divisive. Whereas anchovies on a pizza, I think, is actually genuinely quite unpopular in the UK. So I don't think I've really see them being offered terribly much. Okay, so we've got a new tablet code which we can go and try out. So yeah, a brioche base, says James Moore. Oh dear. Laurie Sand says, no, anchovies are amazing. The majority is wrong. I like that because you are absolutely correct insofar as it is totally possible for the majority of people to be incorrect about something. Truth is not a democratic process. Sometimes, right? But then again, on the other hand, sometimes truth is a totally subjective process instead. Bing! And down we go. Oh! We're doing something. Wait, the sky is now moving? Oh, wow, okay. Yeah. So we're accelerating time, I would guess. What's this gonna do for us, though? Oh, hey, is that... Oh, the ring's moving around. Check that out. That's so strange. So the idea is, I suppose, that this moon is somehow tidally locked to that planet. But the ring is moving around the planet rather than the planet actually moving. Interesting. Now, when we had an effect like this... okay. I was going to say, when we had an effect like this in our previous location, it was only for a particular length of time, and then it reset. Now, what were we able to do there previously? Well, we were able to do those bubbles. It kind of turned... It sort of turned a machine on, didn't it, for us? James Moores asks, are we not to read into the fact that the large ringed planet is not moving? Well, the ring was moving. But no, I'm not 100% sure whether that's something to read into. I'm kind of presuming that it's just... that's just a function of its... just a function of the skybox. Although it is interesting that they chose not to make the ring part of the skybox. I wonder how they've done the ring then, because the ring presumably is not like an object that's really far away, because that would be like a real pain. I wonder if it's like an actual animation. Now my reckoning would be that maybe something changes in here. Like, this would be the most obvious place to make a change, or, given that we are, you know, what we experienced in the Ice Age was that doing a symbol like that sort of powered things up. Maybe we're supposed to ride the gondola. The only place we can't get to with the gondola currently is this, like, island in the middle, so maybe that's where we go. In fact, maybe I want to try that first, because that feels like it could be like the more obvious thing to try. So let's give that a go. The gondola's over at this end. Okie dokie. So let's pull up the tablet. I'm gonna draw boop, 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 and there. Down. Yep, come on. Go, go, go. Oh! I don't know if I got that one previously, so we'll make sure we get that one. That's weird. Oh, maybe just the... thank you. Oh, maybe just the stuff that we did in there turned the gondola on anyway, because, like, the Barrow hasn't even done the thing that it was doing, you know? But okay, right, so I've taken a picture of that one. Is there anything else to be seen from here? So the picture that we just got... this one, incidentally, I think we already had this one. I think this one is... Yeah, this one's just that one. Right, we just got it from a different angle. Okay, well we can set that, and then we'll sort of see what happens from there. Okay, so yeah, so we'll go up here, back round, and then enter that coordinate into the telescope. And then, kind of understanding a little bit better the sort of tricks that we're fiddling with here, we'll have a look and see what we can find. I would assume... let's see, given that we're looking at the one with the bottom left cut out, so that's over here. So I would assume if we're changing this one, the telescope that we have here then pointing to that will reveal the next code, presumably. Speedrun strats. No jump button in Myst 5, of course, which is interesting because very notably, you definitely could jump in Uru. Right, what numbers are we looking for? We are looking for 4 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1. No. No, that's not 4 and 1. That's 4 and 5. Beep. Okay. Right. So with that input, let's swap back over to the other gondola terminus. Myst 5 Stranger doesn't have knees. Confirmed? Quite possibly. I do miss our original Stranger a little bit. So I wonder what happened to OG Stranger in the end. Right, so that's the one that just got rotated. So I would assume there's going to be something here to see. Like, not obviously, right? Like, that circle is probably like the most suspect part of it. Like, it's not quite lined up. Whoops. Okay. So I wonder if we need to combine it with getting the planets to spin. Because the clue has a picture of the planet on it. James says, can't have you bunny hopping your way past plot. Imagine if you could skip stuff. Speedrun strats all day long. Arcstator says, what did you see through the telescope? Well, ironically enough, what I see, it appears to be, is another telescope. One that's pointing sort of upwards. I mean, this sort of kind of has a bit of a planet sort of end to it, right? Which these other ones kind of don't. Planet Phil says, cheers TDF, doing stuff, just dropping in to say hello, give you a big like. Thank you. Thanks, Phil. Hope you're having a great day. Yes. LWF58 is correct as far as I'm aware that we are indeed playing Dr. Watson, who is not a character I'm terribly familiar with, but he was mentioned in Uru. Is Dr. Watson... I think Dr. Watson might also be a real person in real life, which is a little bit unusual. They do act as though they are still the stranger doing the intro, though. It is absolutely implying that. The stranger was a human who was alive in the 1700s and 1800s. Really? Myst is set in 1700, 1800? Oh, okay. Richard A. Watson, aka Rawa. Oh, Richard Watson is Rawa. I didn't know that. Oh, fair enough. I mean, I still think it's odd to have like a real life person be a character in the game. Oh, yes, okay, I gotta remember I can do that, of course. First time chatter, Anony Muse, first time catching me live, getting caught up on YouTube for Myst 3 and 4. Oh, you're in for a treat. I really love both of those. Okay, cool. So, we are in Speedy Time world now. Does anything change here? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see anything different over there. Supposedly there were several people named Richard Watson working at Cyan simultaneously. Let's try the other location. Yeah, okay, it's still going, it's still going. So this is what we saw from this one here. Ah, okay, never mind, we're sort of turning back. Now... hang on, let me see. Yeah, okay, the one we were looking at over there is actually behind this tower. So this telescope is not really going to be able to see it from here. Like, you can see it behind... you can see it behind the building. It's... or even can you? It might even be totally obscured. So no, I don't think it's this. Oxidator says, I mean the one in the chamber, as in, what do you see through the telescope? Well... I mean, it is pointing at the storm on that planet. It's that storm there. But you can't see the planet. Oh, you can see the planet from this. Oh, it's just low enough to go under the arch. Except this one can't actually turn around. Anony Muse subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much for that Prime subscription. That is very much appreciated. I guess we could take that telescope or that telescope and have a look at the storm on the planet. Dodo says, I think they just left it vague so that people who didn't play Uru can think it's still the stranger. It is definitely, as a series, I would say that Myst gets more and more... Is introspective the right word? I'm not sure. It gets more and more introspective as time goes on. Like, we made a joke in one of the previous streams about how the Steam page for this game literally says something along the lines of, so if you're a Myst veteran or new to the series, you won't want to miss the conclusion of this epic story. And I was like, if you're new to the series, starting with Myst 5, you would find this a totally baffling experience. And I think that sort of broadly tracks for all of the Myst games, really. Like, I think one of the biggest weaknesses of Riven, if I can call it a weakness, is the fact that Riven was a sequel to Myst. Now, it obviously didn't hurt Riven terribly much at all, because when Riven was released, Myst was the best-selling PC game of all time. Possibly the best-selling video game. Possibly not, though, because I think Tetris and Super Mario Bros. Probably would have had it beat out. But definitely the best-selling PC game of all time. So it's sort of pretty reasonable Metal Gear Solid 2 style that you have a big enough audience for Riven. But as time goes on, the series does definitely become more and more... This is for people who are actually, like, fans of this series, you know, because it gets more and more, I don't know, I'm not really sure what the word I'm looking for is, because I don't think introspective is the right word, but it's something along those lines. I think you guys know sort of vaguely what I'm getting at least, anyway. Right. So there's only one telescope that can point at this storm. Is there something to be seen here? And maybe there's not anything to be seen here, but maybe there is something that can be seen if we turn the tablet up. Maybe. I don't know. Let's... Oh, I left the tablet. Left the tablet. Come on. Diegetic? Maybe. Yeah, like more and more of the logic relies on the internal understanding of the universe itself. Maybe. Haters might call the later games more preachy. I'm not I don't know. I'm not sure I would agree with that necessarily. I certainly haven't found the later games preachier. Yeah, we're going to need to put this down far enough away that a Barrow is going to activate it, right? So let's put you down over here. Beep. The games being inside their own universe is definitely a very unique twist. It's actually one of the things I really like about it, to be honest. Okay, so, if I have a look at this then... Beep. So the storm itself is actually moving. Is it going to return to where it was at the start? I don't know. James says, my guess, if you have to throw a mirror really hard so that it passes in front of the viewfinder of the distant telescope, then you catch it in the reflection from the one that you're at. The only path that makes sense. Oh, interesting. The storm has stopped, like, where it stopped. It doesn't, like, return to where it was before. How interesting. Could I have missed another telescope or more? Entirely likely. Entirely likely. Kemosak says, you've played Abduction, right? I have indeed. I played Abduction alongside the first Myst. I streamed Abduction, one of my very, very early streams. You can see the recordings on the YouTube still. That's gonna be a bit rough, because that's like 2.5 years ago, right? So that's going to be a wild ride if you go back and watch our Abduction playthrough. But I was streaming on Sunday mornings Abduction, and I was really loving it. And I was like, I want to play like more of this genre of game. And Myst 2021, it had just had a remake, so I was like, okay, so this is like the same studio that made Abduction, so let's try recording this. And I was recording Myst for YouTube directly, not streaming it, because Abduction was the stream and Myst was the game I was playing when I wasn't streaming. And yeah, oh, that's good. And you know what? It was pretty good. And then I played like all of the others. I've seen the Myst book in the Welcome Center that you can open and see it's a computer. Yes, but that was kind of before I knew like the reference, to be honest. So yeah. LWF58, that was a fan nod. Fan actually made that book with a game in it. Yeah, do you know what? I think I've seen that on the Reddit. On the Reddit, yeah. Is it possible? Oh, do you know what? Okay, hang on. 4, 5. It's odd, because the planet's kind of moved a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely a 4, 5 is the clue. Like, I don't think there's going to be much value deviating from that. Oxalator says, interesting view. Doesn't... I mean, to quote Westworld, right? It doesn't really look like anything to me. So that's the one. And the telescope that's on top of this stack definitely can't turn that far. Yeah, abduction I really rate, though. I really rate abduction. I think a lot of the criticism of abduction is kind of a little bit unfair. Like, I've heard people criticize it for things like there's a lot of backtracking. And it's kind of like, I hate to break it to you, but if you're going to criticize a game for having too much backtracking, this is not the genre of game you should be playing. Because, like, that's all these games are. It's a very small environment that you bounce around in, working out the next thing that you can do. So I've always felt that that was a particularly unfair criticism. It's more environmental than Rem, though, since Rem just feels like someone stuffed a place with puzzles. Rem, yeah, like Rem I would kind of loosely, I mean, it's not a Sokoban game, but I would almost describe it as Sokoban adjacent, because like the pathways and the level design in Rem make about as much sense as a given layout of corridors makes sense in a Sokoban game. And what you are often trying to do in Rem is navigate the environment in such a way that you position yourself so that you can solve the puzzle. But yeah, there's very little in Rem which is kind of like environmental diegetic puzzles. It is more kind of like, here are codes and here are clues, and you need to find the clues, match the clues up to input devices and input them correctly, and then you solve everything eventually. Finding the clues is sometimes part of the puzzle, and that's where the environmental aspect of it comes in. Oxidator is really trying to like hint but not hint for sure, and I'm not picking up on it. I'm being like well oblivious. Like I genuinely am not being deliberately obtuse. I'm kind of a bit stuck. The thing I'm most stuck on, the thing I think would let me get unstuck is I don't understand what, when the Barrow does his little warp point thing, I don't really understand what that's doing. In the ice world, it was powering up the bubbles that we could then walk across. But here, it's kind of really unclear what it's doing. It's speeding up time. And that's making the ring move, and it's making the storm on the planet move. So... But where the telescope is pointing doesn't point at the planet. It points at a random bit of space about here. So... And the code's not on the telescope itself, so it's not like the last telescope where we moved the telescope and then we were able to like see through a gap in the thing. The only other thing kind of guiding me, I suppose, is that these are written in kind of luminous yellow paint, whereas this is just like carved onto the side of a thing. I mean, the ring is the wrong way round. Like... It's not like the code is upside down or something, is it? But I don't think that would make sense, because if it was upside down, it wouldn't be the bottom left that's missing, it'd be the top right that's missing, but we've already input that one. On all of these, incidentally, we've not really... You're not really ending up pointing them at anything. Right? So top right missing and bottom left missing. So that one's not pointing at anything yet. Like, we're not pointing at anything there. We're not really pointing at anything here either. Laurie Sand said, I'm making you feel so much better, you needed a hint here. Oof. Oxidator says, I don't want to spoil it, which is appreciated. Incidentally, check out the Discord chat for what is probably a really furious discussion going on about how much of a hint I need right now. Usually on the Discord. I should set up a dedicated channel for it, to be honest. But usually on the Discord, there's always lots of conversation going on about, like, oh yeah, do you think he's actually going to kick the crabs off ever? And then people sort of debating as to whether I'm, like, enough of a psychopath to ever actually go and kick a crab just for the sake of it. Which is good. Like, I'm glad that you guys have enough faith in me that you don't feel that I would ever kick a crab for fun. So I'm down with that. Like, if that's the part of Anone that really tripped us up, I'm fine with that. I can live with that. I am painting you guys in a much worse light than you actually are. You must protest. I might need a hint here. Let's get back on the gondola, right, and go back to where that clue was. Oh, actually, come to think of it, was that drawing the same in both locations as well? I kind of took that for granted a little bit. So let's go... Oh, no. Wait, what? Come on, this way. This way. Okay. There we go. Blimey. I was like, the gondola only goes one way? That would have been unfortunate. Dodo says, I kind of already gave you a hint. Ah. Oxidator says the telescope is pointing slightly past the planet. Yes, I agree. The telescope is sort of pointing kind of about there or so. Is there anything sort of more to this here? Might not be. Okay. I cannot climb whilst I'm holding this. So we're going to put this down. If I were to hint at this, I'd direct your attention to the one provided by the game itself. James says, I have a well actually about something you mentioned, but I don't know if that's a spoiler. Oh, ooh, interesting. Like, I don't see that there's much to interpret on here. There's a little chip here. But, like, I mean, a lot of these stars twinkle, right? If there was, like, one twinkling star, I'd be like, oh my god, it's a thing! Okay. Shroomfi says, when you speed up time, I can only think of the poor natives, Dene refugees in this age also having time pass 1,000,000 times faster. Ooh, I guess so. Our hinting is getting a bit mean again, but to be fair, TDF asked for it. I did, that's true. Let's go back up here. I'd remind him that the telescopes have zoom functions. But I used the zoom function, they're not looking at anything. Okay, well, now that I've been reminded that they have zoom functions, he called us out about our Discord chats. Yeah, I guess that does make it fair game. So here, that looks to me like it is in fact exactly the same thing as we see here. Yeah, that doesn't look any different to me. Discord is better than Zoom anyway. Oh yeah, Discord is way better than Zoom. Yeah. Zoom is really strange, right? Zoom has such a really strange history. Because, like, no one I knew had ever heard of Zoom, right? Like, no one had ever heard of Zoom. And bear in mind, right, this was in the Skype days, right? Everyone's used Skype, right? No one, I didn't know anyone that had ever heard of Zoom. Then the pandemic hit, and then everyone goes and works from home, and then suddenly every other news article seems to be about Zoom or mentioning Zoom, and I'm like, am I getting old? Or does the CEO of Zoom just, like, know a bunch of journalists and got them to write pieces about his product? Like, because it was really strange how suddenly Zoom entered the public consciousness from, like, nowhere. Because it's not as if video calling was, like, this new thing that Zoom invented, either. Like, because as I say, everyone in offices already used Skype. There was Skype for Business before it became Teams. And, like, you could have group calls on Skype, and you could have group video calls on Skype. So, like, it's not even as if Zoom did anything, like, new. So I genuinely remain baffled by it. Okay, this telescope is the only telescope that can point at this telescope. And this telescope is the one that we moved with our last code. Ah, you'd suggest something similar to what we did last time. Review what Escher said. Ah, yeah, okay, let's review what Escher said. That's actually a really good shout. Is it, in fact, all explained in my journal? What is special about this planet? That's a really good question. Your destination is not here but above. The stars and planets must be aligned, and regrettably, it is only the perverted power of the creatures that can do it make them. Ah. Man, I should pay attention to what Escher says more, shouldn't I? So... are we just trying to run this several times until something aligns with our telescope? Like, maybe? But what's it gonna do when it is aligned? So here's the thing, and here's the zoom function. Okay, let's try putting the tablet down and get it to do a thing. Beep. And drop. Now, who was it that was predicting that Myst 5, given that it's got about 5 hours of gameplay, would probably take me about 12 episodes? Because it's starting to not look a million miles off. Ooh! I didn't realise it did that. I mean, which stars are we trying to align here, though? Weirdly enough, this has also kind of got slightly out of sync as well. Like... okay. James says, to be honest, I zoned out when Escher was talking. I heard the words but took nothing in. Yeah, I guess you're not I guess you're not supposed to do that. Oxidator says, is the code slightly off? So do we just keep running it until the... no, but the planet doesn't move. We're looking slightly past the planet. The planet itself doesn't move. Dark Faces, I hate to have been the one to joke on that. Like, yes, you know what you did. What's close to the planet? The planet's ring is close to the planet. The nebulae, actually, that was near the planet has gone because the firmament has, of course, moved. I mean, maybe we're trying to get the... Is the ring big enough that the telescope would actually catch part of the ring as the ring comes up? It probably would, wouldn't it? Okay, so if we do it more, because the ring is gradually tilting more and more, maybe the ring ends up in view? Bing, bing. To be fair, the Barrow's powers would be great for a whole load of many things, but on the other hand though, the Barrow are not increasing the amount of time that's passing for the cheese. It's actually genuinely making time run faster, so that's probably a really bad thing for everyone. Or is he making the stranger's perception of time go really slowly? There are a lot of questions to answer about this. Like, the Barrow basically have totally unlimited power. But then again, I suppose, if the Barrow are really that powerful, why don't they just link to a universe where the Denis never invented linking books? No, it's kind of tilting the opposite way, isn't it? Hang on. Is it not? Let's try it a couple more times, right? Because the ring is definitely moving. James says, with great power comes great irresponsibility. Yeah. I finally got round to starting to watch, talking about great power and great irresponsibility, I finally got round to starting to watch the latest season of Rick and Morty. And it's actually not bad. Like, Rick and Morty, I feel like, had a real kind of, a real dip in the last couple of seasons. Oddly enough, kind of tracks pretty closely with Black Mirror, I think. I reckon if you stuck the Rick and Morty IMDb scores up against the Black Mirror IMDb scores by season, I reckon they'd probably be fairly close, because the first couple of seasons of both were really good, and then they ended up in, like, season 3 was okay, then a bit of a lull, and now it's kind of alright again. But, yeah, like, I don't know, the last couple of episodes I've watched have been quite entertaining again, which is a bit refreshing, because I feel like it was getting a little bit naff in places. Having said that, recently just finished watching Rome with my wife. That was great, right? Like, Rome's great. Definitely worth a watch. Now I'm kind of trying to trick her into watching I, Claudius with me by trying to suggest that it's actually Rome Season 3. But I don't think that has any chance of working, because it's quite obviously not from the same time period and a far lower budget. But maybe. But yeah, where's all my I, Claudius fans in the chat? What is that? Like, is that suddenly super zoom? Okay, cool. That's just kind of so jarring, because like that at that zoom level it looks very much like the rings of a planet, and then at this zoom level it's kind of like that meme where it's like the where it's like a satellite view, and then it's like zoom in and you can like see what someone's got on their phone from space. Yeah. So where's my I, Claudius fans in the chat? If you like I, Claudius, let everyone else know why it's that great. It's important to me. You like how Quern handled its diegetics? Yeah, I liked Quern. I actually really kind of liked the lore in Quern. I thought was kind of neat. Like, it doesn't really impact the gameplay too much, but yeah, it doesn't really impact the gameplay too much. But like, I liked reading the little book, being like, yes, there are three types of universes that have been found so far. You've got like corridor universes and T-shaped universes, and so far there's been one universe found that has 5 spokes, and that's where they put the transgalactic parliament or something. And it's like, yeah, obviously it takes a lot of inspiration from Myst, that lore, but yeah. James says, I forgot there was a new season of Rick and Morty. I mean, it's not even really that new of a season, to be fair. It's been out for a fair old time now. Okay, I think we're trying that. Now that you've solved it, it's that the ring needs to match the depiction on the gondola symbol. Ah, yes. Yes. Ah. Oh. We're at the end? I thought there was going to be a third symbol that we unlock.
Do you begin to understand the power of the tablet? Surely it begins to pull you. Its strength grips you. Look around. Without the power of the tablet, this would be left solely to your dreams. Now, imagine how the power calls her. She has tasted it already. She has the ability to use it beyond all others. And she tells you not to give it to her because she wants it so. She destroyed the Dukhni once. And she will complete our destruction if you give her the tablet. Why do I pace? I'm afraid. I fear what you'll choose in the end. I hesitate to tell you this, to add to your burden, but I must.
I mean, you've hardly been taciturn so far.
There is another option in the end.
Oh!
The Myst book. It lies locked on the desk where you began in Kabir. Yisha will not go there. She's grown to detest that island, so the tablet would be safe from her hunger for it. Be alert. A choice awaits. Do not let your feelings of doubt, perhaps even of me, cloud your reason.
Oh, no. This is going to end up being like a very complicated set of choices at the end. I don't suppose, like, the good ending is you just walk away from the game and no one gets the tablet. Because you definitely aren't going to make the situation worse by doing that. Nev Eagleson! Hello, hello. This room is an observation pod. There are several more in Uru Live. Do you guys want to place a bet if I will get a bad ending first? I think it's pretty inevitable that I get a bad ending first. So we got good ending in Myst, first time. Bad ending in Riven. Bad ending in Myst 3, but I take objection to that because, like, we were ready to forgive and I lost a lot of my sympathy for Savidro when he hit us over the head with that hammer. Myst 4, we got good ending. Uru, we got the only ending, question mark. And Myst 5, yeah. It feels to me like there's several bad endings, potentially, so I don't know. Like, it really does feel to me like giving the tablet to Yisha and giving the tablet to Escher would both be a mistake. Oh wow, yeah, so we're literally in amongst the rocks of the ring. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. What's at the top of this observation? Riven does have several bad endings. I only got one of the Riven bad endings as my canonical ending. Then we got good ending. Then we picked up the other endings for completionist's sake. Do you know what? This age does have a really good skybox, right? Yeah, we like the spacey stuff. Don't forget to save before making any kind of choice. Yes, I've been informed that taking pictures gives us a save. So we will. Well, actually, let me see if I've got it correctly. So you just go, pa-ding, like that, and then how do you make a load? How do you make a load? Ah, restore save game. There we go. We can delete these. Right, because these ones were literally us not understanding what the button did. So there we go. Right, we have a save system. Don't forget to cook one of the baro before the game ends. Get yourself one last Myst steak. Oh no. I think we can't do that. Can't do that. Beep. Oh, we're close. We're close. So I'm guessing the options at least must be like give the tablet to Yisha, give the tablet to Escher, keep the tablet for yourself. Take the tablet to Myst, question mark? Or is taking the tablet to Myst functionally identical to giving the tablet to Escher? You know? Because, okay, Yisha's not going to pick up the tablet from there. So this is actually age number 2, isn't it? Now, I've been told that actually we might want to do a resolve. I'm always going the wrong way around on these. We might want to do a resolve on age... What? Hang on. Wait. This is age 2. That's 1. Right, and 3 comes off from... Yeah, and that's 3. Okay. What a weird way of orienting them. Okay. Yeah, so I've been told we might want to do a resolve on age 3 because we've missed some critical stuff about how the tablet works. Maybe. What do you guys think? Should we go back and try and do the puzzles that we missed in this age? Or should we push on to age number 4? Quick vote in the chat. Straw poll. In the meantime, let's catch up with what people have been saying. So don't forget to save. Releasing Genin Tay is a hilarious one. That is a good ending. What I like about Riven's bad endings is you still get a credits roll. Yeah, it does sort of mean, you know, genuinely canonical ending. Laurie Sand says, there's a lot I didn't care for in Myst 5, but I will admit it has one of my favourite bad endings of all time. Oh dear. How Escher managed to solve some of these puzzles without Escher being there to guide him, I'll never know. LWF58 says, go to age number 4. Dodo says, you didn't solve the puzzle correctly, but it's not like you missed any story. Nev says you missed using the bathroom power, but that's about it. What? Oh, bather. I don't know what that is. Okay. Well, let's head towards age number 4. Bathroom power. Spawn a toilet in the Myst. Spawn a toilet in the Myst. On Myst Island. Okay. It's been a hot minute since we were here. So, where do we go? Now, we lifted this up, which means that if we go back down here now, there's more to see? Question mark. Going further down has to be preferential, right? One other thing I would criticise this game on, and this is a very minor criticism because it really doesn't affect like the gameplay, it mostly just affects me, is that the sound mixing is really not that great. Certainly, Escher's dialogue is very much coded to how close he is physically standing to you, which is perfectly fine if you're listening to it live, but is a little bit of a pain if what you're doing is trying to audio mix it to get your levels around about even. Certainly I've been finding when I'm coming to edit these episodes up that Escher's dialogue particularly is really quiet in some ages and really loud in others. So it's not like you can just set like one level for the game and then just forget about it. And some ages are a lot louder than others as well, I've noticed. I guess we can move this back down, like... But this is sort of undoing something we did earlier, which doesn't feel correct. Yes, the choppy FPS is definitely something. Okay. Door here? This looks a lot like a door, doesn't it? Okay, so this just raises and lowers us, and has actually become deactivated. I'm kind of thinking returning this down here was not the correct decision. I don't know, but maybe it is, though. Maybe it is, if that is genuinely a door. Not sure. Right, let's try... Don't know what happened there. Let's try hitting that up again. Yeah, the earthquake, the earth moving is going. Okay, and then that's going to activate this button. But this... No. Okay. It's very, very rare that you have to undo something you did previously. So I'm going to go with the answer to this must be elsewhere. Elsewhere. It is a door, but you can't open it from this side. Classic. Just walk through the closed door like you did for that one in Uru. Well, yeah. Like, why not? Let's just do that again. That is funny. So yeah, okay, so we got in here last time. Okay. And then the only other two exits are this one, which takes us back down. Does the elevator go further down? It doesn't. Now that that floor has been raised up, it feels like we need to get back down there. But those doors have been closed from this side. We could press the button and then get off the elevator, potentially. Because when you press the button, it does take a bit of a while before it moves. Okay, so throw it down and then let it run without us. Yeah, that's gotta be it, surely. It's gotta be something like that. Okay, there is something down there. Oh, okay, great. And there are ladders here, and there's a note down there, and everything else. Perfect. Okay, great. We're cooking, guys. Unfortunately, though, that is all we're going to have time for today's stream. Ooh, bit of an earthquake going on there. That is all we're going to have time for in today's stream. But it's so refreshing to end an episode without being stuck at the end. I often have the right thought straight away and then don't execute on it. Well, you know, I mean, I gotta long it out somehow, right? Excellent. Well, my friends, if you are watching on YouTube in the future, thank you very much for watching. This has been episode 5 of Myst 5. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Like and subscribe if you're not. And please come back for episode 6. Have a great week, YouTube. Bye for now. Okay. Next, let's say goodbye